Chapter 3. George's Perspective. The dead man wakes me before Bones does. He's standing at the edge of camp, just outside the firelight, wearing the same clothes he died in, which I know because I watched him fall 3 days ago, back near the scree slope. Snapped his neck on the rocks. Wasn't one of ours. Just some traveller who picked the wrong route and the wrong weather. Damien found the body, we buried it shallow, and I figured that was that. Apparently not. He's not looking at me. That's how I know he's confused. The angry ones look right at you. The confused ones just stand there, like they're waiting for someone to tell them where the door is. I've seen hundreds of them. More, maybe. I stopped counting around the time I figured out that telling people about it just made them edge away slow. I don't get up. I don't acknowledge him. Rule 1, if you feed them attention, they stay. He'll figure it out or he won't. Either way, he's not my problem. The living are hard enough. Then Bones says my name in the dark, and I'm up, and the dead man's already gone. They do that. Blink out like candles when the real world gets loud. Morning goes like it always goes. Bones wakes ego first because ego needs to be first. Ewan pretends to sleep so ego can have it. Damien's already down with the dogs, and I'm on my feet doing the things that need doing because sitting still makes my skin itch. I rig the packs. I'm good at it. Weight distribution, load bearing, physics you can feel in your shoulders. I'm good at most physical things. Running, jumping, climbing, carrying. It's the sitting still things I'm bad at. The talking about feelings things. The why do you see things that aren't there, George things. They're there. They're just not here the way you're here. It's not complicated. A dog hears things you don't. I see things you don't. Same idea. But people hear I see dead people, and suddenly you're the crazy Blackwood kid. And yeah, I know what they used to say about my family before my parents died. Strange blood, shadow work, too close to the woods, and I know what they said after. Cursed line, better off ended. Except Ewan's family took me in. Ewan's mother took me in, age 3, no hesitation, and made me her son, and when she died, Ewan kept me like it was obvious. Like I wasn't the possibly cursed orphan of a possibly dark bloodline. Just, brother. I've never said thank you. Don't know how. The debt's too big for words, and he'd just get embarrassed anyway. So I carry his pack when he's tired. I watch his back. I don't tell him when I see his mother sometimes, standing behind him in the mornings, hand hovering near his shoulder, like she's still checking on him. She never stays long. The good ones don't. Damien takes point. Ego bristles, Bones smooths it. We walk. I'm second in line today, right behind Damien, and I like it here. Up front the trail's quiet. No chatter. Damien doesn't talk and I don't need to. We just move. He reads the ground, I read the air. Between us, we've got it covered. Halfway through the morning, I see the other dead man. Not the traveller, someone older. He's walking parallel to us, 30 feet off the trail, keeping pace. Doesn't look at us, just walks. I've seen him before, maybe a week back. Same route, same gait. Some spirits are stuck on a loop, died walking this way, so they walk this way forever. Playing the same last hour until something breaks the thread. I don't know what breaks it. Priests talk about prayers and rites. All I know is sometimes they stop, and sometimes they don't, and you can't make them hear you either way. Cygnus sees him. Dogs sometimes sense them. She growls low, ears back, and I put my hand on her neck and push calm into her the way I do. Not words, just a feeling. And she settles. She doesn't like it, but she trusts me. That's the deal we've got. Ewan's voice behind me. George? You good? He saw me watching the tree line. He always sees. It's like he's got a string tied to me, and any time I pull on it, he feels it, and he has to check. Has to make sure I'm not slipping into my head, not seeing too much, not falling into the space between here and there. It's annoying. It's also the only reason I'm still alive and sane. I'm good, I tell him. You sure? Ewan, I'm good. He lets it go. For now, he'll ask again tonight. Different words, same question. It's what he does. Part of me wants to snap at him. I'm not broken. Stop checking. Part of me is so relieved someone's checking I could weep. I don't do either. I just walk. We round the bend and there it is. Banic. Oh, ego says. Fuck, I say, because I mean it. 200,000 people crammed into 3 rings of stone, and the noise coming off that place. I don't mean sound, I mean the other thing. The pressure, the weight of that many lives all burning at once, and under it, through it, the dead. Not hundreds, thousands. A city that old, that big, you're walking on graves 8 deep. I can feel them from here, a low hum in my back teeth like distant thunder. Ewan starts talking about the shantytown, voice climbing into worry. Bones answers steady. Ego stares. Damien's already mapping exits. Me, I'm trying not to throw up. I've never been anywhere with this many wandering dead. Our family graveyards have dozens, maybe. Scattered. This is different. This is a weight. If I go down there, if I walk into that, I'm going to see all of them. Every confused ghost, every angry loop, every shadow that doesn't know it's finished. And they're going to see me seeing them. I breathe through my nose, count to 10. Shove it down into the box where I keep the things that'll kill me if I look at them too long. Ewan's hand lands on my shoulder. George, I'm fine. You're white as ash. It's the mountain air, I lie. He doesn't believe me. I feel it through his hand, the worry, the guilt, the I should have thought of this, I should have known. That's the string pulling tight. That's him thinking it's his job to carry whatever I can't. I shrug him off. Not mean, just I've got it. I don't. But I'm going to. The ledge is nothing. I need to say that plainly because everyone else treats it like execution ground. It's 2 feet wide and the stone's dry, and I've jumped wider gaps on a dare. I walk at normal pace, Cygnus at my heel, and I'm across in 30 seconds. George's ledge is not the rock. George's ledge is the dead man on the other side. He's sitting exactly where the trail widens out, legs crossed, head tilted wrong. Broken neck, looks like, same as the traveler. Older, though. Decades old, his clothes are rotted down to scraps and his eyes are empty, and he's looking right at me. You can see me, he says. Not a question, a fact. The angry ones always know. I don't answer. Rule 1. Boy, you can see me. Tell them I'm here. Tell them. I walk past him, right through the space he's occupying, and it's cold the way it's always cold, like stepping through a shadow that hasn't seen sun in years. Cygnus whines. I keep walking. Behind me, the spirit howls. No one else hears it. Ewan's helping Ego across the ledge. Damien's watching the dogs. Bones is steady as stone. They hear wind. I hear rage. I sit down hard, back to a boulder and breathe. Ewan makes it across last, hugging Muley, and when he sits next to me, he's shaking and trying not to show it. The ledge took him hard. Heights eat him alive. He does it anyway. That's Ewan, terrified and walking forward. Hate mountains, he mutters into Muley's fur. I want to tell him, at least mountains don't scream at you in languages you shouldn't understand. I want to tell him, you're scared of falling, I'm scared of staying. I don't. I just bump his shoulder with mine. He bumps back, the mystical connection thing. I don't have words for it. It's been there since we were kids. I feel them, all 3 of them. Ego like a steady drumbeat, Damien like a low hum, Ewan like a second heartbeat right next to mine. Strongest with Ewan, always strongest with Ewan. He pulled me out of a frozen river when I was 7, and I felt him grab me before his hands even touched me. Like our souls were braided together, and he just yanked on the rope. We've never talked about it. You don't talk about the ground under your feet. You just walk on it. Caves by sundown, Damien brings back a rabbit. I build the fire because fire's simple and I need simple. Stones, wood, flame, real things, solid things. No ghosts in a good fire, they don't like it. Then Ewan sits down across from me with that look and says, "You've been limping." I have not been limping. My feet are fine, but Ewan's decided I need fixing, which means I'm getting fixed whether I need it or not. And honestly, after the ledge, after the dead man, after the weight of Banic sitting on my chest all afternoon, fine. Yeah, sure, fix something. Boots off, feet are actually fine, couple blisters, nothing serious, but Ewan treats them like they're made of glass, and Bones shows him how to pack them with moss. And I sit there letting them fuss because Ewan needs to fuss, and I'm too tired to fight him on it. You're an idiot, Ewan tells me, rapping the second foot. You're a mother hen, I tell him. Someone has to be. And there it is, the weight he carries. The responsibility he never asked for and never put down. I want to tell him, "You don't owe me, you saved me once, the debt's paid." But we both know that's not how Ewan works. He's going to carry me until one of us dies, because that's what he does. He carries people. I hate it. I need it. Both true. "Thanks," I mutter. He looks up, surprised. I don't thank him much. Don't thank anyone much. "Yeah," he says, quiet. "Yeah, George. Late, fire down, everyone's settling. I lie on my back and count the stars and try not to think about tomorrow. Try not to think about walking into that crush of living and dead, that weight, that noise." Cygnus curls into my side. Across the fire, Ewan whispers something to Ego. "We're going to be all right. Through the string, through the cord, through whatever ties us." I feel him not believe it, feel him say it anyway. That's the trick, maybe. You don't have to believe it, you just have to say it. You just have to get up and walk. I can do that. The dead can't touch you if you keep moving. I'm fast, always have been, fastest of the four, strongest, best jumper. If it gets bad down there, if the weight gets too heavy, if the ghosts get too loud, I'll run. I'll run and Ewan will follow, because he always does, and Damien will find the trail, and Ego will hold the center. We'll be fine. We're already fine. The dead man from the ledge is standing at the edge of camp again, watching me, still angry, still waiting. I close my eyes. He'll be gone by morning. They always are. Chapter 4. Bones' Perspective. I wake before the birds. Old habit. Soldiers learn it or die. The fire is coals. The boys are four shapes in the dark, and I lie still a moment and count them the way I have counted them every morning for 8 months. Ego nearest the fire, Ewan beside him, Damien apart, near the dogs, George flat on his back, one hand on the Cygnus, eyes closed but not asleep. He sleeps badly. He has always slept badly. I do not ask why. There are questions that close a boy up, and questions that open him, and that one closes him like a fist. I wake Ego first. Always Ego first. It costs me nothing and buys me a day of cooperation. The boy needs to be first, the way other men need bread. I noted it the second week, and I have fed it ever since. This is not manipulation. This is medicine. You learn what a body needs and you supply it. Ewan lies still with his eyes shut and lets Ego have it. He thinks no one sees this. I see it. The boy gives things away constantly, quietly, like a man bailing a boat. Someday the boat will be empty and we will learn what Ewan is when he has nothing left to give. I am not eager for that day. Damien is already up. Always already up. He hands me the water skin without a word, and I take it without a word. We understand each other, Damien and I. Words are a currency, and we are both misers. George rigs the packs. I let him. He does it better than I would, and the work keeps his hands busy and his eyes here, in this world, on rope and buckle and load. I have watched him on idle mornings. His eyes go to places where nothing stands. He tracks things across empty air. The first time I saw it, I thought, fits, falling sickness perhaps, the quiet kind. Then I remembered the wise woman of Owl Island, years ago, who would not cross a churchyard at night and tracked nothing the same way. And the one in the records of the third ring courts, tried twice, acquitted twice, who told her judges the gallery was fuller than they knew. I do not see what George sees. I do not need to see it to know it is there. A surgeon does not see the fracture. He reads the swelling. I have said nothing to him. There are questions that close a boy up. We walk. Damien takes point. Ego bristles. I put a word in, one word placed where it will bear weight. And the moment passes. 4 months of this. 4 boys, 4 tempers, 1 trail. I have run field hospitals with less management. Here is what I know that they do not know I know. They are tied. All 4. I have no name for it, and the archives gave me 3 names, all contradicting. The wise women called it braiding. The old church records called it worse. I have watched it work for 8 months, and I can describe it as I would describe a symptom. Ewan turns before George stumbles. Damien goes still before Ego's temper breaks. They sleep facing each other across fires without arranging it. Once, near the mudshore, George woke shouting from a dead sleep. At the same instant, Ewan, half a mile off, fetching water, dropped the bucket and ran. I did not seek them out because of it. That much is true, and I hold to it. I found 4 orphans because I was looking for orphans, and I chose these 4 because they were sharp and sound, and no one would miss them. That last clause. I keep rephrasing it. No one would come looking, no one would object. It does not improve with rephrasing. What I noticed afterward, the braiding, the Blackwood boy's eyes, I noticed afterward. I tell myself this changes nothing about the arrangement. Some mornings I believe it. Midday we round the bend, and there is Banic. The boys stop. They always stop. Everyone stops. The city is built to stop you. 3 rings of stone stacked up the mountain's knee like a judgment. I do not stop. I have seen it. I was made in it. Novella. The name still opens doors in the 2nd ring and once opened them in the 1st. My father held a surgery on the Street of Scales and a commission in the Tower Guard, and I was to hold them after him, but I held neither, and the why of it is a story I will tell no one on this trail. It is 40 years old and still bleeds if pressed, so I do not press it. Ego stares like a man counting money. Ewan frets about the shantytown. Good instinct, the sprawl below the great citadel, stretches for miles, and I like the look of it less than he does. Damien maps exits. He does not know he does this. I knew sergeants who did it, and they died old. George goes white. I watch it happen. Colour drains from the face in a particular order. Lips first, then cheeks, then a greyness at the temples. And I have seen it in men about to faint, and men about to vomit, and men reading casualty lists. George does none of these. He stands, breathes through his nose, and lies about the altitude. It is not the altitude. We have been higher for a week. I think of the wise woman at Owl Island. Cities are loud, she told me once, and tapped her ear and then tapped the bone behind it. Loud in the part that doesn't close. 200,000 living in Banic. I do not know the count of the other census. Older than the kingdom, that city. Plague twice, the burning once. Every stone in the 3rd ring was carried up on someone's back, and some of those backs broke. If the boy hears any of that, then I am marching him into a bell as it rings. I file it. There is no remedy I carry for it. You treat what you can treat, and you watch what you cannot. Ewan has his hand on George's shoulder before I finish the thought. Of course he does. The braid pulled, and he answered it. He does not know that is what happened. He thinks he is simply a good brother. He is that too. The 2 facts share the space comfortably. Dead Man's Crossing by mid-afternoon. The boys think I chose this route for speed. Partly true. The trade road would add a day, and a day is a cost I cannot pay. For reasons I have not given them, and the reasons sit in my coat pocket, folded into quarters, and I have not unfolded the paper in a month because I do not need to. I know what it says. I know the date on it. The crossing earned its name honestly. The archives hold the toll. The surveyor Plyn and both his chainmen, the winter of the Iron Duke, 11 of the Duke's own men the year after, trying to widen it. The mule trains that simply stopped trying. The 1st ring debated a bridge for 60 years and built a statue instead. That is Banic in 1 sentence, if you want it. I cross first. An old man crossing first tells 4 boys it can be done. That is the whole of leadership. Go first, look bored. Then I stand on the far side and I watch, because the ledge is 2 feet of honest stone, and what it actually measures is not balance. Igo crosses fast, fueled by being watched, noted. Damien crosses like the ledge insulted him by being easy. Noted. George walks it at strolling pace, dog at heel. The boy is an athlete, the best body of the 4, wasted on a ledge, and then sits down on the far side harder than the crossing warranted. And his eyes are on a patch of empty trail, and his jaw is tight. Noted. Underlined. Ewan comes last, hugging the mule's neck, grey with fear, and does it anyway. I have decorated men for less. I keep my face still and my hand near, and when he is across I say nothing, because praise would tell him I saw the fear, and the boy's dignity is load-bearing. 4 boys across. I breathe again. I am not aware of having stopped. Caves by sundown. Damien brings a rabbit. George builds the fire well, soldier well, tight and smokeless, and I wonder again who taught him, and do not ask. Then Ewan decides George has been limping. He has not been limping. I have watched that boy move all day, and his gait is clean as a colt's. But Ewan needs to fix something tonight. The ledge took its fee out of him, and this is how he pays himself back. So I say nothing and let the surgery proceed. Blisters, minor. I show Ewan the moss packing anyway, the dry inner moss, how to bind it so it stays. He learns it in one showing. Good hands, that boy, better than half the dressers I commanded. In another life, I would apprentice him, and he would surpass me by 30. In this life, I am delivering him to Banic, and I do not know to what. George submits to the doctoring with the face of a man enduring weather. Then he says thanks, and Ewan looks up like he has been struck, and something passes between them that I could not bottle or name. And I look at the fire and give them the privacy of my inattention. 8 months of observation, notebooks of it, in my head where no one can read them. And the honest finding is this: whatever ties these boys is older than my arrangement and stronger than my reasons. I found them. I tell myself I found them. Some mornings I believe it. Late, fire banked. 4 shapes, counted. Across the coals, Ewan whispers to Ego, "We're going to be all right." He does not believe it. The braid probably tells the others he does not believe it. They will let him say it anyway. That is what the saying is for. I am 56 years old. I have buried a name, a commission, and everyone who knew me when both were good. Tomorrow I walk back through gates I swore off, with 4 boys who trust me because I wake them gently and dress their feet. The paper in my coat says the 17th. We will make it with 2 days to spare. I close my eyes. Old habit. Sleep comes when ordered, or used to. Tonight it takes its time. IGO. Looking back. I am a man in my 40s now, and I still wake before the hand that stopped being there a long time ago. Old habit. Bones gave it to me without either of us knowing it was a gift. Every morning of that road, he'd put his hand on my shoulder before the others, and every morning I'd lie there already awake with my eyes shut, letting him give me the waking so I could pretend I'd taken the first of the day. I thought I was running a clever little theft on an old man. It took me 30 years to understand he'd seen the whole game by the second week and dealt me the winning card every dawn on purpose. The way you'd feed a starving dog from your own hand so it learns your smell before it learns to bite. First, that was the whole of me at 15. If you want to know who I was, that's the word first. There were 11 of us in the house on Tinner's Row before the fever took the count down to something the bread could cover. You learn arithmetic young in a house like that. Bread for 9, mouths for 11, do that sum at 6, and you never stop doing it, not at 15, not at 40. I got first or I got nothing, and I spent my whole youth refusing to find out what nothing tasted like. I can tell you now what it tastes like, but that comes later in the road than this. And I swore when I started this that I'd tell it in order, the way it happened. So the boy I was gets to be the boy he was, before I let the man I am put words in his mouth. So, Bones' hand on my shoulder, my eyes opening like it was news. Up, he said, the longest speech I'd pry out of him before noon, and I was up, and the day began the way every day of that journey began, with me already counting and Bones already knowing. Ewan lay faking sleep beside me, leaving me the warm spot, the first of the fire. God help me, I thought I was getting away with something. He gave everything away, that boy. The warm ground, the better cut of meat, the you go ahead ego. Gave and gave like there was a well under him that never ran dry. I watched him do it for 8 months, and I thought he was soft. I thought, this one's a bucket pretending to be a well, and one morning he'll reach down and pull up dust, and I don't want to be near him when he learns it. I was right about the bucket. I was wrong about everything else. He found the dust eventually. We all watched him find it. And what I know now that I couldn't have known then with my whole skull full of bread sums is that the giving was never softness. It was the bravest arithmetic any of us ran. I kept mine. I hoarded firsts like a miser in a fire. Ewan spent himself down to the studs on purpose, because he'd decided, somewhere I couldn't follow, that a brother emptied was worth more than a brother full. I never told him to stop. I meant to. I took the warm spot and kept my mouth shut and called it the deal. If I could send one word back down the years to that fire, it wouldn't be to my own ear. It'd be to his. Keep some, Ewan, just this once. Keep a little for the man you don't think you'll need to be. He wouldn't have listened. None of us listened. That was the other thing about being 15. Damien took point that morning, and I went to fight him for it. I had the right of it, too. I was faster on the trail, and every one of us knew it. The words were halfway up my throat when Damien went still. I can't make you feel it if you weren't there. He'd go quieter than a man's body is built to go. Like the air around him cooled and set, and the stillness would reach across and find the hot thing climbing in my chest and press it flat before I could throw it. I hated it more than I hated losing point. I'd fought boys bigger than Damien and never lost my legs the way I lost them when he just looked at me and went quiet. At 15, I told myself it was size. At 40, I'll tell you the truth, I spent decades not naming. It wasn't size, and it wasn't fear, and it wasn't anything you could weigh. It was the thing that ran between the four of us, the thing the wise women had a word for that we wouldn't hear for years yet. Damien could put his hand on my temper without lifting his hand. George could go grey at a city wall for reasons in nobody's chest but his own. Ewan turned his head before any of us stumbled. We thought we were four orphans on a hard road. We were something with one nerve strung through four bodies, and we were too young and too hungry and too busy keeping score to feel the cord until it started, one by one, to be cut. Bones set my name down between us. Ego, just that, like a coin on a table, and the fight ran out of my legs. And we walked. I marked it a win. I marked nearly everything a win in those days. You have to when you're keeping a ledger that only ever runs red. Then we came round the bend, and there was Banic, and for one whole minute I forgot to count bread. 3 rings stacked up the mountain's knee, stone on stone on stone, more roofs than I had numbers for. And I did the only thing my head knew how to do with something that size. I priced it. Wharves meant work. The sprawl below the walls meant marks with loose purses. I stood there, reading that city like a takings sheet, totting up what a fast boy with quick hands could lift from a place that big. And I felt almost happy, in the only way I knew how to be. I didn't look at George. That's the part that sits worst, looking back. I was so busy pricing the city that I didn't see the boy beside me go the color of ash. Bones saw it. Bones saw everything. I know that now. I've read what was behind that flat old face since, in the way you read a man after he's gone and it's too late to thank him. But I had my eyes full of rooftops and my head full of sums, and George stood there with the whole weight of that place pouring into the part of him that didn't close, and his own brother had to be the one to put a hand on his shoulder. Ewan's hand. Of course it was Ewan's. The cord pulled and he answered it before he knew he'd moved.